Then came the twist that no one saw coming, a supposed betrayal. Multiple posts claimed that a trusted ally, maybe Bodhi or Mitch, would turn on Dwight in this episode. One fake leak summary said, "The general never expected it from his own circle." That line alone sent Reddit spiraling. Was this the revenge Dwight had been warned about? Or a setup designed to make the audience doubt everyone around him? Some fans argued that it fit perfectly with the show's theme, that loyalty is just another weapon. But not everyone bought it. A few sharp-eyed viewers pointed out inconsistencies in the dialogue scene in the leaked footage. The background music didn't sound like anything from the show's official composer. And Stallone's voice seemed slightly off, like an AI-generated imitation. That led to another theory. What if the leak wasn't from Paramount at all, but a deepfake made by fans or even scammers? The internet has seen this before, fan-made trailers that go viral, convincing people they're real. And with modern editing tools, it's not hard to stitch together believable scenes using recycled footage and AI voices. Still, there were parts of the leak that felt too real to dismiss. One alleged moment showed Dwight facing a mysterious figure in the shadows, someone who says, "I taught you everything you know." That single line reignited an old theory that Dwight once worked for a secret mentor figure before his time in New York. Could this be the hidden hand behind all his troubles? Or was it a clever misdirection planted to make fans doubt the timeline? Another rumored scene from the leak showed a large-scale gunfight in an abandoned warehouse, a callback to the Season 1 finale. But this time, the tension wasn't about territory, it was personal. The supposed description read, "The fight ends with silence. Dwight doesn't win, he survives." That line felt too poetic to be fake, too intentional. It carried the weight of a writer who knows Dwight's story is more than bullets and bruises. It's about what a man becomes when his own power begins to consume him. Fans dissected every rumor like archaeologists searching for buried truth. Some connected these leaks to the title art of War itself, saying the episode might reflect Sun Tzu's ancient strategies, deception, patience, and control. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak, one fan quoted online, suggesting the entire leak could be a deliberate bluff, orchestrated by Dwight in the show's plot, or by the studio in real life. Either way, the strategy worked. Everyone was talking by now. The internet had turned into a battlefield. One side insisted the leaks were real, claiming someone inside the production team had slipped up. The other side believed it was all part of a bigger plan, a marketing ploy to build tension before the season finale. The debates were fierce, emotional, and never-ending. You could scroll for hours through threads of fans analyzing voice tone, lighting angles, and background props like detectives solving a murder. What made the situation even more convincing was timing. Episode 7 was only a week away, and the studio had gone unusually silent. No teaser, no trailer, not even a press release. The silence only fueled the mystery. Some thought the studio was trying to hide the truth. Others said they were watching the chaos unfold with a grin. After all, nothing builds anticipation like uncertainty. And that's what makes Tulsa King such a powerful story. It mirrors real life. The show is about manipulation, control, and strategy. It's about knowing when to make a move and when to let your enemies destroy themselves. The leak, real or fake, became an extension of that same philosophy. Whether crafted by a hacker or a marketing genius, it blurred the lines between fiction and reality, just like Dwight himself does every time he steps into the spotlight. By the time the dust settled, fans didn't care as much about the truth anymore. They were already invested in the mystery, waiting to see which theories would survive the real episode. And that's the ultimate trick to make people so caught up in guessing that they forget what's real. The Art of War isn't just Dwight's story anymore, it's ours. When the smoke of the so-called leak finally began to clear, what was left wasn't clarity, it was chaos wrapped in obsession. The Tulsa King fandom had turned into something else entirely. Comment sections became war zones, fan pages turned into investigative boards, and every voice online sounded certain of one thing: they knew the truth. But the truth was slippery, and just like Dwight Manfredi, it refused to be pinned down. The aftermath of the Art of War leak was unlike anything the series had seen before. Overnight, it felt as if the show had escaped the screen and entered real life. Fans started calling themselves soldiers of the general, forming small online communities that swore to protect the story from fake leaks. Others took the opposite side, calling themselves the insiders, claiming to have connections in the production team. They promised real information, but their posts were as mysterious as Dwight's coded messages to his crew. Soon, fan-made evidence boards began appearing online. Screenshots were pinned next to blurry behind-the-scenes photos. and red arrows connected theories, like crime scene strings. Some people claimed to have matched props from leaked images to real filming locations in Oklahoma. Others compared voice lines from the supposed clip to Stallone's past performances, pointing out tiny differences in tone or phrasing. It stopped being about proof, it became a hunt for meaning. Every detail was a potential clue. Every silence was a sign. And then came the studio's response, or rather, the lack of it. Paramount remained completely silent. No statement, no denial, no confirmation. The official Tulsa King's social accounts continued to post unrelated promotional content, pretending nothing had happened. That silence only deepened the mystery. Fans began to think the lack of response was the response. Maybe the leak was intentional. Maybe the studio wanted fans to fight it out online. It was, in a strange way, genius, the perfect example of controlling the chaos. Meanwhile, media outlets began picking up the story. Entertainment blogs ran headlines like "Tulsa King leak sparks online frenzy" and "Is Paramount behind the mystery?" YouTubers started dissecting every rumor, turning speculation into long-form essays about art, deception, and digital storytelling. What had started as a small whisper of a leak had now evolved into a cultural moment, one that blurred the line between fan and creator. But not everyone was thrilled. Some fans felt betrayed. They believed the leak had spoiled emotional moments they'd waited weeks to see. "It's like someone peeked at my Christmas gifts and told me what's inside," one comment read. Others fired back, saying the leak only made them more excited, that the anticipation was part of the experience. The fandom had split in two, each side claiming to understand the show's true spirit. One side wanted truth, the other wanted thrill. And then, something strange happened. The leak started influencing fanfiction. Writers began creating stories inspired by the rumored betrayal, the warehouse shootout, and the mysterious message, "The war begins at dawn." Artists drew posters for the lost episode. Some even edited trailers using fan-shot footage from Tulsa. The leak, whether real or fake, had breathed new life into the fandom's creativity. Dwight Manfredi's world was no longer owned by Paramount, it belonged to the people behind the scenes. Though the cast was reportedly frustrated, a few crew members dropped hints on social media that the leak wasn't real, and that fans were being misled. One anonymous post from a lighting technician read, "Trust me, you haven't seen anything yet." That only made things worse. People interpreted it as proof that there was something real being hidden. Even denials became fuel for conspiracy. And then, at last, Episode 7 officially premiered. Millions of fans tuned in, their minds buzzing with theories. Every line of dialogue was examined, every frame compared to the leak. And the truth, most of the leaked scenes were nowhere to be found. No betrayal, no secret mentor, no warehouse shootout. The actual episode focused instead on strategy, Dwight manipulating rival gangs without firing a single bullet. It was quiet, tense, psychological. The art of war was not about violence, but control. That was when fans realized the real twist. They had been living through the lesson all along. The leak itself was the art of war. Someone, whether a studio mastermind or an opportunistic fan, had used deception to control attention, to keep people guessing, to make them question what was real. And it worked perfectly. Just like Dwight, the orchestrator of this chaos had won without ever revealing their hand. In the weeks that followed, people stopped asking who leaked it and started asking why it happened. Some said it was an experiment in viral marketing. Others believed it was a test of audience psychology, how far fans would go to find truth in fiction. But for many, it didn't matter anymore. The experience itself had become part of the story. By the time the finale rolled around, Tulsa King wasn't just a show. It was an experience of control, trust, and manipulation. The leak, real or fake, had taught everyone the same lesson Dwight lived by. Power isn't just about who holds the gun. It's about who controls the story. And in that moment, fans finally understood the title Art of War. It wasn't about bullets, blood, or betrayals. It was about strategy, the invisible kind that plays out in silence, behind screens, inside minds. The real battle was never between Dwight and his enemies. It was between truth and belief. Something big just dropped. Whispers are spreading that Tulsa King Season 3, Episode 7, Art of War has been leaked online. Fans are going crazy. Screenshots are popping up, and rumors are flying faster than bullets in a Dwight Manfredi showdown. But what's really going on here? Is this a real leak? Or just another clever stunt to get fans talking before the finale? Stay sharp, because in the world of Tulsa King, nothing is ever as it seems. The world of Tulsa King has always lived in the gray zone, a place where loyalty meets betrayal, and power plays are disguised as friendships. As Season 3 builds toward its peak, the story has become more dangerous than ever. Dwight, the General Manfredi, played by Sylvester Stallone, has fought his way through rival gangs, corrupt businessmen, and his own inner demons. He's not just fighting for survival anymore, he's fighting to prove that even in exile, a king still rules. Leading up to Episode 7, fans have seen the tension grow like a ticking bomb. Episode 6 ended on a cliffhanger that left everyone on edge. Dwight's empire looked stronger than ever. But small cracks were starting to show. His allies were growing restless, his enemies were watching from the shadows. And every move he made seemed to carry a hidden cost. The stakes were higher than ever. And that's exactly why Episode 7, Art of War, became the most talked about episode even before it aired. Then came the storm. Late one night, posts started appearing on social media claiming that Episode 7 had leaked. Some users said they'd seen short clips showing a massive gunfight. Others claimed there was a secret twist involving one of Dwight's closest allies. Within hours, screenshots and supposed synopsis leaks began spreading across Reddit, X formerly Twitter, and private fan servers. The words Tulsa King S3E7 leak started trending, and just like that, the fandom was thrown into chaos. But here's where things get interesting. Nobody could confirm where the leak came from. The clips were grainy, the sources were suspicious, and some of the so-called leaks looked like they were cut together from earlier episodes. Still, the damage was done. The idea of a leak was enough to send fans into a frenzy of speculation. Was the leak real? Was it an inside job? Or maybe, just maybe, it was a brilliant move by the studio to stir hype before the episode dropped. As the noise grew, one thing became clear. Art of War wasn't just another episode. It had become a symbol of the chaos and cunning that defined both Dwight's world and the Tulsa King universe itself. Whether real or fake, this leak played right into the show's theme: deception. Every player has an agenda, every secret has a price, and sometimes, even the audience becomes part of the game. And that's the genius of it all. Whether this was a real leak or an illusion created by marketing masterminds, it worked. Everyone was talking about Tulsa King. The episode's title, Art of War, suddenly felt like more than a name. It was a message. In the war of attention, the smartest strategy is to make people question what's real. It started like a whisper, quiet, uncertain, and easy to ignore. A few late-night posts, some blurry screenshots, and a short, shaky video clip claiming to be from Tulsa King Season 3, Episode 7, Art of War. But within hours, that whisper turned into a roar that spread across fan communities like wildfire. No one knew where the leak had come from, but everyone wanted to believe it. In a world built on secrets and double-crosses, the mystery felt perfectly at home. The first so-called leak appeared on a small Reddit thread titled, Tulsa King Episode 2 Juice Spoilers. You won't believe this. The post included 3 still images that showed Dwight standing in what looked like a dark warehouse, facing a group of armed men. One picture had a strange marking on the wall behind him, a symbol that fans hadn't seen before. Some believed it was a clue, a hidden connection to his past life in New York. Others thought it was fake, an edited image meant to stir chaos. But the post didn't end there. Attached to it was a short paragraph claiming that Dwight finally makes his most ruthless move yet, one that will change the entire balance of power in Tulsa. That was all it took. Within minutes, the images were reposted across multiple fan pages, shared on X, and discussed in Discord servers. Fans began dissecting every pixel, comparing lighting, shadows, and even Stallone's expression to scenes from earlier episodes. A few eagle-eyed viewers noticed something strange. The lighting looked slightly different from anything shot in the show so far. That detail sparked a theory. This wasn't a real leak, but an early test shot or a deleted scene deliberately released by the production team. And then came the twist. A second clip surfaced. This one was longer, about 10 seconds, showing what looked like an argument between Dwight and Chicky, his old rival from New York. The audio was muffled, but one line could be made out. "You think I forgot what you did?" That one sentence sent fans into overdrive. Was Chicky back in Tulsa? Had the New York family finally decided to take revenge? Or was this scene completely fabricated to mislead viewers? In the hours that followed, more supposed insiders came forward, each claiming to have seen the full episode. Some said the leak came from an early reviewer who broke their non-disclosure agreement. Others insisted it was from a hacked streaming server. But none of the claims lined up. The timelines were messy, the evidence thin. Every proof seemed to contradict the last. It was chaos, but the kind of chaos that keeps fans glued to the screen. And here's the thing. This wasn't the first time a Tulsa King episode had been at the center of an online mystery. Back in Season 2, rumors had circulated that Episode 8 was leaked before release, only for it to later be revealed as an elaborate fan edit. The producers never confirmed or denied it, letting the speculation fuel free publicity. That's why this new leak felt so believable. It followed the same pattern, a small spark of confusion that ignited massive curiosity. But there's a darker side to these leaks too. For the cast and crew, every rumor becomes a potential threat. Scripts are locked under code names, devices are tracked, and even extras are made to sign strict NDAs. Some studios go as far as filming fake scenes just to mislead leakers. It's a digital battlefield, one where misinformation can be as dangerous as a real leak. And in a show literally called Art of War, the irony couldn't be sharper. Still, the fandom thrives on mystery. Every time a leak drops, the fanbase lights up with energy. Memes are created, theories are built, and the excitement spreads far beyond the show itself. That's the strange beauty of it, real or fake. The leak gives fans something to unite around, to argue over, to analyze. It turns watching into participation. By the end of the week, the leak had taken on a life of its own. You could find people online building full episode summaries from fragments of speculation. Some even claimed that the title Art of War hinted at a psychological battle within Dwight, that the real war wasn't with guns or gangs, but with his own guilt and pride. Others argued that the leak was just a piece of viral marketing brilliance, that Paramount knew exactly what they were doing. Whatever the truth was, one thing became clear: the mystery had done its job. The anticipation for Episode 7 had reached a fever pitch. Fans weren't just waiting to watch it, they were hunting for it, piecing together clues like detectives. And just like Dwight himself, everyone was trying to figure out who could be trusted, and who was playing them from the shadows. In the end, whether the leak was real or a calculated illusion didn't matter anymore. The idea of the leak had already won the war. The war for attention, for speculation, for hype. And as Dwight Manfredi would say, if you can control the story, you control the power. The so-called leak wasn't just a few clips anymore, it had turned into a full-blown puzzle. By the time fans had shared, slowed down, and analyzed every second of footage, dozens of confirmed details about Tulsa King Season 3 Episode 7, Art of War were floating around online. Some of it felt believable, even cinematic. Other parts seemed so wild that only the most dedicated fans could convince themselves it was real. But that's what makes this show so dangerous. It plays with the line between truth and illusion. And this leak might be doing the exact same thing. The first major detail that spread was about Dwight himself. According to the leak, Episode 7 opens with Dwight standing in the middle of an empty boxing gym, the same one where he once trained Tyson back in Season 1. The scene supposedly shows him staring at a framed photo of his old crew, before smashing it against the floor. The symbolism was clear. Dwight is cutting ties with his past. But that moment wasn't what caught people's attention, it was what came after. In the leaked script, Dwight receives an anonymous message that reads only, "The war begins at dawn." Fans immediately connected it to the episode's title, Art of War, and began theorizing that a new enemy was about to rise, someone who had studied Dwight's every move and was ready to strike from within.